And welcome to the Marcus and Mike Show. This is live, raw, and uncut sports talk with my man Marcus over here. Marcus was just ranting and raving a little before the show started. We were going to start one way, but let me start off with you, Marcus. Kawhi
Uh,
Leonard said he never played with anybody elite, so let's just go ahead and start right there. Has Kawhi Leonard ever played with anybody elite?
Either he misspoke or he's a liar.
Hmm.
Either way, he's a little punk. Yeah. Listen,
Coming from
if
a
he's
Spurs
talking,
fan,
yeah, if he's talking about, he never played with anybody that's like 6'7", 6'8", like him, and that can, Grant Hill type, Sean Elliott type, that can do multi-dimensional things. Okay, but if he just said he's never played with any player that has elite ability, he's a liar. Yeah, Tim Duncan was on his final 5 years when Kawhi was there.
yeah.
But Tim Duncan in 2013 was 37 years old and still averaging 18 points and 10 rebounds and 2 blocks and taking his team to the finals. So let's not get crazy, Kawhi, that you never played with anybody elite. That's crazy. That's a complete disrespect. Now, he didn't see Duncan in his heyday,
Right.
but would you consider 18 and 10 and an all-star kind of a elite, especially coming from a player that used to be the best in the game? See, also, I'm going to argue this one. Actually, I wouldn't even have talked to him about Duncan. I would have said, hey, man, last year you played with a guy that's about 6'9" and has elite skills. Now, and that's Pascal Siakam.
Right.
Pascal Siakam averaged 17 points and like 7, 8 rebounds. Now, the elite stats aren't there, but Pascal Siakam has elite talent. So I'd love to ask Kawhi a couple of questions. But now he just can say that, and he's the Kawhi Leonard, and he's the savior of the Clippers, and we never really hear him talk either. So that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. He's never played with anybody elite. I wonder what Tim Duncan has to say about that.
Well, maybe he will respond when he officially becomes a Spurs assistant coach. But like
Yeah,
I think of Kawhi now kind of like the Tom Brady of like the NFL. He can never do anything wrong. Like Tom Brady has
right.
flat out cheated three or four times. Like,
Oh yeah,
oh, it's Tom Brady. He can do
yeah.
whatever he wants. Now Kawhi Leonard is saying he's never played with anybody elite.
Um,
He strung the Lakers like along for 2 or 3 weeks, kind of handcuffing them and making off season moves when like he knew he was going to the Clippers the whole time, playing their
yeah,
fiddle behind their back. Um, Kawhi's starting to come out be making out
yeah,
like a bad guy. To be
yeah. I mean,
honest,
but you're right though. He can do nothing wrong. Like he's won a title here. He's gone.
yeah,
Whenever you keep winning titles at where you've gone, they're gonna. It doesn't matter what you say.
winning cures
It,
all, right?
Yeah, it does. And then I'm glad you mentioned the Tom Brady thing. And I'm just going to say real quickly: um, is he a great quarterback? Absolutely. Did he cheat? Absolutely. When you played football before, right?
Right,
Yeah, I played for 7 years. If you take a little bit of pounds off the football, right, it becomes easier to grip and easier to throw and easier to be accurate.
right.
Okay. Now, here's where my point will be very valid. Ever ran the football before? If you take a couple of pounds off that football, it's easier to grip, right? And you don't fumble as much. During that time in question, when they were taking the pounds off the football, the New England Patriots didn't fumble at all.
Right.
Ben Jarvis Green Ellis and some other ones, their names are eluding me now. Those running backs went other places, and guess what happened, Michael?
Fumble
They
City.
fumbled. They fumbled. When you hold the rock, when you hold that ball and you take a couple of pounds of pressure off,
Yep.
you will not get that away from me. But if that football is hard as a rock and is NFL standard, it's easier to punch out. So it wasn't just Brady's throwing that was in question on the cheating. It was the running backs didn't fumble. So yes, New England had an advantage there. They cheated.
And it's a
That
little bit easier to catch as well because
yes,
those rock hard balls come at you
yes,
and they bounce off your hands, but when it's a little bit softer,
yeah.
they sink in there and it's nice padded
It,
football.
it,
So
is that why some of the New England Patriot receivers look like Odell Beckham?
right.
Yeah.
Or
you know,
maybe Julia Edelman has
yeah,
a broken thumb because of the the exact reason here
right,
because the balls he was catching was too hard. So he broke a thumb because the balls he was catching in the
right.
off season was too hard.
I'm
So
glad you mentioned that the
tell me
catch
that
thing.
doesn't work out.
I'm glad you mentioned that the catch thing and the fumble thing. If I were to get a football right now and deflate it 5 pounds, you will never rip that ball from me
No.
unless you fucking stab me.
Right.
Okay,
And like
but,
even
but
then,
if
I'll be
I,
like, "What'd you do, man?"
yeah. So, anyways, okay, that's our tangent. Tom Brady and Kawhi Leonard. I guess we can start the show now.
The only thing a flat football will not help is a kicker. But even when
That's
it
that's true.
but if it gets like 15 degrees outside,
Right.
I may want a little softer ball to a tight
Yeah,
kick,
you're
but
right. That's right.
it is what it is. So training camps start around the league today. Some notable ones that like I'm excited about. The Kansas City Chiefs, obviously. The Green Bay Packers are starting. I think I've seen the Eagles and the Giants, and there's a
Yeah.
slew of other teams that started training camp today. The biggest question I have for you right now, the New York Football Giants. Do you see them starting a rookie quarterback week one?
I don't. I think it's Eli's job. I think they're in love with Eli Manning. I don't know why. I mean, he's been an average quarterback his entire
But he's
career,
won them 2 Super Bowls, so.
right? And he's been absolutely terrible in the past 7 years. And those Super Bowl MVPs should be given to the defensive line for the New York Giants, both Super Bowl MVPs.
Right.
So yeah, no, and I'm not ever in favor of playing a rookie. That's just my thing. So I no, and then Daniel Jones to me is not going to be I don't think he's even going to be as good as Eli Manning, and that's Eli Manning's an average quarterback. So no, I mean I think Daniel Jones, they wouldn't have taken him number 6 overall if he wasn't going to start eventually. But no, Eli Manning will start the season, and then Daniel Jones is going to have to learn, and you know he's not going. You don't want a rookie quarterback learning on the fly like that. You just don't. You preferably you'd like to have Eli go like 8-8 this year and then retire, and then Daniel Jones finish out start his second season. That maybe he gets a few snaps in mop up duty when Giants are getting killed, which will be a lot this year. After Eli's thrown 3 interceptions, I'd bring him in the fourth quarter and see. I'd let him sling the ball too to see what happens. I wouldn't just have him hand the ball off. But to answer your question, no, Eli Manning is going to start for the Giants, and I think the Giants do want Eli Manning to start all 16 games. I don't think they want to see Daniel Jones this year. No, it's a learning. This year's that redshirt year. It's a learning year. I've told you on many occasions, a lot of good quarterbacks have started out and not played a snap their first year and went on to have great careers. 2 that come right off to mind is Phillip Rivers. He watched Drew Brees play the entire year. Phillip Rivers, go look at his stats his first year. It's going to be a bunch of nothing. He watched Drew Brees play that entire year. And Steve Air McNair for the Houston Oilers, formerly Houston Oilers, then became the Tennessee Titans. He learned from, I want to say Chris Chandler, he didn't play the first year. I don't know why the name's eluding me right now. And then McNair took over his second year and was great. It's almost like you need that year, in my opinion, you red quarterbacks especially, not linebackers. And, but you need that year especially to redshirt and just look at everything. Hell, Johnny Manziel didn't. A lot of really good quarterbacks didn't play there, and then they didn't play that first year. They learned everything, and then they're redshirt freshmen, and they started. That's the way it should be, especially even at the NFL level.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up Breeze because many people forget he played with San Diego Chargers. Like they came to a crossroads where we were like they had to trade one or the other, and they picked Phillip, which on hindsight seemed like a good choice, but now looking down the road, I mean, like I'm glad Drew Brees is not with the San Diego Chargers because as a Chiefs fan, I don't want to face him twice a year. I mean, he is pretty damn good.
He is pretty good, Michael, but he plays in a good system with Sean Payton.
Right.
And I don't want to slight Phillip Rivers either. Like
I'm not trying to, but yeah.
No, I know that, but I think Phillip Rivers is a damn good quarterback, and I think Breeze is obviously he's better, but I don't think you could have gone wrong with either one. What they made an organizational decision. They picked basically Phillip Rivers with the number 1 overall pick. I mean, it ended up being slotted at number 4, but they traded Eli Rivers and all that.
Yeah.
And so, they had to let Breeze grow. It's like you can't take a quarterback with a 4th overall pick. They had to let Breeze grow, Drew Brees go. And so, man, Phillip Rivers is a hell of a player. Like, listen, a lot of things happen in football games. Tony Romo is another elite. Tony Romo is one of the most efficient quarterbacks in NFL history. Mm-hmm. And if he had played another 5 years, Tony retired too early. If Tony had played another 5 years, like Phillip Rivers, Tony Romo would be on his way to being in the Hall of Fame as well, just like Phillip Rivers. I mean, I don't think you have to win a Super Bowl or get to these big games. Listen, it's about the team around you. Um, man, I think I told you the story before. Philip Rivers had Tom Brady beat. I don't know if you remember this or not. Tom Brady was sitting on the sideline thinking about the vacation, and then because the previous play, Tom Brady threw an interception. Marlon McCree intercepts it, and basically the game is over. Right, the Chargers have won. Marlon McCree, instead of going down, right, keeps carrying the football, and one of the New England linemen stripped Marlon McCree of the football.
Mm-hmm.
That put that put Tom Brady back on the field. Or back to a first down, and they kicked the game-winning field goal.
Yeah.
So in other words, just because Marlon McCree didn't go down, Philip Rivers isn't in a Super Bowl or playing in another AFC Championship game. So it's about the team. It's not like Philip Rivers did everything he could that day.
Right.
Marlon McCree messed that up. Patrick Creighton messed it up for Tony Romo. If Patrick Creighton catches that football and there was green in front of him, Tony Romo had scrambled for his life because the Giants started putting pressure because they have that great defense. Mm-hmm. Tony Romo did one of those great Tony Romo things. He got out of the pocket, slid out of there, the sidearm it to Creighton. Creighton catches it, takes it to the house. Game over. Dallas advances. Guess what happened? Creighton, ball's right in his hands. Dropped it. Now Romo's now the narrative on Romo is what? He sucks. Yeah. Choker. Mm-hmm. So it takes a complete team to win these games.
You're right.
I went off on another tangent.
Yeah, no, that's perfectly fine because this is the Marcus and Mike show, and we can do whatever we want because we are not paid to give our opinions. Paid by somebody else to give their opinions, basically. Right. But Philip Rivers is also the only quarterback from that class in the first round to not win two Super Bowls either.
That's true. Well,
Ben Roethlisberger has 2 Super Bowls, and Eli Manning has 2 Super Bowls. So,
let me just tell you this right now. I'm going to tell you this right now. If we were starting a franchise and all 3 of them were 22 years old, I'd take Philip.
Yes.
I don't know. It would be a nudge over Ben Roethlisberger. I've kind of analyzed at their careers. Ben Roethlisberger has played with some great teams and great defenses and great coaching.
He has.
See, Roethlisberger, unlike Romo, Roethlisberger, me and my son used to laugh at this all the time. Roethlisberger could go into a game and throw 2 interceptions and win the game.
Right.
3 interceptions. Romo throws 2 or 3 interceptions. Guess what happens to Dallas?
Lose.
Done.
Yep.
Because he doesn't have that great coaching and great defense behind him. So you got to look at all the things going on in those games. What made Ben Roethlisberger great? He's great. I just think Phillips a little better. Just nudging. And of course Eli is. Oh my God. It's absolutely insane how he's got 2 Super Bowls. Mm-hmm. Kyle Williams muffing punts. That's how they beat the 49ers.
Right.
Kyle Williams muffed 2 punts. Okay. Patrick Creighton not catching the ball. Asante Samuel has an interception framed before the catch that the guy Tyree or something made over on his head.
Yeah.
Asante Samuel has a framed interception. Game over. New England's champs again.
Yeah.
He dropped. So all these things have to go in play for Eli Manning to win a Super Bowl. And plus, if you look at that Giants D line, especially back in 2007, they were great in 2011. Mm-hmm. What happened? Tom Brady that year didn't get touched all year, even in the playoffs. Right. He would be back to pass, and if somebody got near him, he'd be like, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
In the Super Bowl, and Tom Brady had put up like 50 points a game. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
He gets to the Super Bowl.
I believe they were 18-0, weren't they, going into that game, or 17-0?
He gets to the Super Bowl, and what happens?
He gets sacked a lot. Yeah.
He's running for his life. So that Giants defensive line beat Romo, made Romo run for his life, made Brett Favre run for his life. Made Jeff Garcia there and see my memory. They played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the wild card game. Mm-hmm. Jeff Garcia was running for his life. That Giants defensive line are the real. Eli Manning should be sending Christmas cards and money and gifts to that defensive line for years. And you know what you got to love about the Giants management and that D line? Mm-hmm. They would have a solid starters, right? They still would draft a defensive lineman with the number 1 or number 2 pick.
Right. Like
they just kept on giving assets to that D line, and they would wear you down. And like, in other words, OC Umanura, Justin Tuck, Pierre Paul, they didn't even need to draft Pierre Paul. Michael Strahan, they were already elite. They just drafted Pierre Paul for fun.
Yeah.
And so by the time they knew that getting to the quarterback was a premium, And so by the time the playoffs rolled around, there was nobody better in those 2 seasons at getting to the quarterback.
Yeah. So just to add to your to make this full circle here, you think Eli's going to start all season?
Yes.
Um, we're going to break down the Giants' schedule tomorrow.
Right.
But just depending on how when's their bye week here, by their bye week is like week 10. So depending on how the first 9 weeks go,
Yeah.
I could foresee Daniel Jones starting like week 11. If they're 0-10 or whatever.
Yeah, no,
So,
oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, record will have something. If Eli just keeps them afloat, like I said, what they really want is to go 8-8. Like, and I listen. Of course, they're gonna say we want them win the Super Bowl. That ain't. Listen, let's keep it real, guys. Yeah, they'd like to go like 9-7, that 8-8 range. Like that's a good season. Let Daniel Jones learn. Let Eli not suck. Let them. This is a rebuilding year, and then the following year, do something. But you're right. If record wise, if they're 1-7, I mean, yeah, you're gonna throw Daniel Jones in there. There's no doubt about that. Or if the offensive line isn't good enough, Eli Manning can finally get hurt. That son of a gun.
Yeah.
That man. You look at Romo kept getting hurt and all that. Like quarterbacks, man. Eli knew when listen. This is where Eli's smart. He knows when. Have you ever seen him just go straight down?
Yeah.
Like he gets a little contact, boom, go down, because he wants to play next week. He's not
him
gonna
and
like.
Peyton were the same exact. Him and Peyton must have like this sixth sense back there.
Yes.
So I don't know what it is.
When they get contacted, just drop. Yeah. So no. That's how you live to fight another day. You don't try for the extra yardage and all that, and that's how you get hurt. Yeah.
Yes. So speaking of training camp with startings, there are obviously some holdouts, some big names that are holding out. Melvin Gordon comes to mind right off the bat. Right. What are your thoughts about that?
I think he's doing the wrong thing. Look, on one side you could say, look, running back, not a big shelf life. Try to get your money right away.
Right.
Okay, I understand that part of it. I understand that part of it. But if the other team is playing hardball with you, okay, and you sit out the year, and then you do a limit and you come back, that's rare. Like you have lost a year off your running back ability.
Mm-hmm.
That's bad. You've lost $6 million. Okay, you're not getting that back, and you're a year older. And I just don't think that that's a good recipe to work for a running back position long term. In terms of then he goes and then let's just say he's on another team. And then he hasn't played football in a year. If you don't stay in that great shape, and Le'Veon Bell surprised me, he looked like in great shape. Let's see how good a football shape he's in. You can easily get hurt if you sit out for years and months, and if you don't work out properly. Look at Des Bryant. He got signed with the Saints. He's a well-conditioned athlete. He tore his Achilles right away because he went from just regular working out to football, trying to play in pads and all that, and it didn't work. You can easily get an injury like that. If I'm Melvin Gordon and I'm his family, I'm saying, look, son, you're getting about $300,000 a game. You're getting $6 million this year. You don't want to be fined and all that crap. Play this year out, kick butt. You've only started 16 games once in your career. Okay? Play this year out and then become a kick butt and then become a unrestricted free agent and then take a tour. Hey, see who wants you. Be like those NBA players. It won't be a big a deal, because the NBA players, this is a bigger deal. But I would take that tour and say, hey, I'm Melvin Gordon. Who wants to sign me? But here's the other thing on it where he's wrong is the Chargers actually want him. They're not saying, Melvin Gordon, we don't want you. They're coming back with contract offers, and he's rejecting them, and I think that's also wrong. Okay, listen. He is not Le'Veon Bell. He is not Ezekiel Elliott. He is not Todd Gurley, okay? Those guys are in the 13-14 range. He's at 6. So what the Chargers are doing, they're meeting in the middle. They're in that 9-10 range. So Melvin Gordon, Michael, is turning down like the 4 years, $40 million. That's not 4 years, 50-something. He's turning down like 4 years, $38 million. That's $9 million a year. That's half. That's where he's at now.
Yeah.
And that's getting close to the Todd Gurley and Ezekiel, but it's not there. It's a couple million short, and he's turning those contracts down. That could be a bad mistake for him in the long run. Let's see how this plays out. Would you turn down those contracts?
I would not turn down those contracts at all. I mean, and especially since I am on a Super Bowl caliber team, people are picking the Chargers to win the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Get
Yes.
your ass to training camp and help
Yes.
your team win a Super Bowl, and then worry about some money,
Right.
because because people are trying to follow that that Le'Veon Bell, you know, play
Right.
play play hardball. I'm actually going to sit out like a year. We
Right.
will see if this actually works. We will
We
see
have right.
if Le'Veon Bell gets hurt or doesn't get hurt. I just watched an interview from him from like camp, and he
Right.
says he is going 100% every rep in practice. I find that hard to believe, but even
Yeah.
if he is, it's still not game conditioning. It's still not
Right.
game speed. We will find out week 1, 2, 3, and 4 if Le'Veon Bell's holdout hurt him or like or not.
Right.
So
We still don't. You're
right.
right. We still don't know. Let's see
So
if he gets hurt or not. And I'm not rooting for him to get hurt. I want him to
no,
play.
yeah.
Yeah, we're not saying that or anything.
I never wish ill will on like anybody, but Melvin Gordon, get your ass to training camp,
Yeah.
earn that money, get your team a Super Bowl, because a Super Bowl champion gives you a little bit more leverage when it comes to free agency. More teams want you. Oh, he has Super Bowl experience. He's been there. He's done that.
And then, well, the players are crazy too. He thinks he's in that Ezekiel Elliott and Le'Veon Bell
Stats
and
don't
Todd
lie
Gurley
though.
category.
You don't
He's
have no
not.
stats. No.
He's not. He's good. He's near there. If they're a 10, he's like an 8. Okay, and he's being paid right now like a 6. Okay, the Chargers are giving him contract offers like an 8. He's got to accept those, or it could. Let me reiterate, it could hurt him in the long run.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
like it could, but only time will tell. I believe the
Right.
Chargers report to camp tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And speaking of another whole holdout, you are wearing your Dallas Cowboys hat. Veterans report tomorrow for the Dallas Cowboys. Do you expect to see Ezekiel Elliott in training camp?
Jason Garrett said yesterday he expects to see Ezekiel Elliott at camp, and I don't think he would lie about that. I expect to see Ezekiel Elliott at camp. I don't think Ezekiel Elliott is the type of player that would disappoint Dak Prescott, disappoint his offensive lineman. I don't think he has that. I don't think that's in him. He's getting around the same as Gurley, $200,000-$300,000 a game check. And Ezekiel Elliott's gonna make big money.
Yeah.
Next year he'll make what was it, 9, 10, 12 million. And then if they franchise tag him in 2 years, then we're talking 16, 17 million.
Yep.
So he's gonna get his money, man. And I think Dallas is gonna do it. I think they're just gonna do they want to do Amari Cooper and Dak Prescott first, and Ezekiel Elliott will be the following summer. So I don't think listen, if Jason Garrett expects Ezekiel to be there, then I expect it too. I mean, he's more in the know than we are, and so I expect Ezekiel at training camp. Yes.
Okay, that's a good point. Also, get your ass to camp as well, man. Earn that Super Bowl ring. 13-3 season. I have you guys going. Don't disappoint me.
And I got him 12-4.
Yep.
Yeah, 12-4.
So
and real quick,
go ahead.
Yannick Ngakoue, the best pass rusher for the Jacksonville Jaguars, is also holding out. He's scheduled to make $2 million this year. And you love you love it or yeah. These guys are turning down money. Jacksonville has counteroffered him with about $57 million for 3 years,
right.
$19 million per, and he's the same situation as Melvin Gordon. Listen, it's not DeMarcus Lawrence and Khalil Mack type, right? But it's right below them. You're like, they're not disrespecting you, dude. And then also I heard that it was excess of $50 million in the first 2 years if you stay healthy, and then maybe like the third year is like $7 million or something. So he's turning that down. $19 million guaranteed, or something like that, $20 million. And I'm just like, man, Yannick Ngakoue, dude. Yes, I understand you've had 30 sacks in 3 years. That's 10 a year. That's a little better than Jadeveon Clowney, who wants a lot of money. But man, it's amazing how they're turning this money down. Man, I guess $2 million he's walking away from this year. So I hope they get that done. But my whole point when I'm freaking out on these contract negotiations is it's not like these respective teams, Jacksonville and the Chargers, are saying, dude, hold out. We don't want you. We don't care about you. No, they want Yannick Ngakoue. They want Melvin Gordon. They're just paying them. They're giving them their fair value. And Melvin Gordon and Yannick Ngakoue are asking for Ezekiel Elliott money and Khalil Mack money. And that's not going to work. The Chargers are going to play hardball with Melvin Gordon, and I think Jacksonville, um, under the leadership of Tom Coughlin, is going to play hardcore with Unique and Ngakwe.
Yeah, basically just like what you said, was it 2 days ago, where the next person's contracts, they always want to one up the next per
Yeah,
person. So Le'Veon Bell got $15 million. Zeke's going to want 16. Melvin Gordon's going to want 17. Just like at some point, it has to be like, you know what, this is what you're worth.
yes,
Like they almost need to put a salary cap per position. Like, wide receivers, the most you can make is
right,
$20 million. Kind of like what the NBA does with max contracts.
right.
So
Yeah,
I
I
think
mean,
because like
yeah,
otherwise it's just going to keep going up higher and higher and higher, and like at some point the salary cap's going to be like $2.2 billion or something. It's just going to be something ridiculous. But
yeah. So I mean, and then the Jacksonville Jaguars need Unique and Ngakwe.
yes,
Some of his best games, like he wears number 91 in your Jacksonville Jaguar program, and I know him very well. He's about 6'4", 250 pounds. He's real light. He's like a DeMarcus Ware, but a little bit lighter. Like, this dude gets after your ass. And some of his best games have come against their biggest competition, against the Colts and Texans.
right.
You're Jacksonville. You don't want to go into battle versus the Colts or the Texans without your best pass rusher. So you better get him into camp. But I'm just shocked. They're giving him fair offers, and he's not taking them. It's weird.
Well, speaking of fair offers, we have to translate from preseason talk into regular season talk. Like we
Okay.
alluded to, we're going to break down the Philadelphia Eagles 2019 football schedule. And the first game that they have this year is versus Washington Redskins. Who do you got winning this one?
Blowout city. Philadelphia in a blowout. So, yeah, whether it's Dwayne Haskins or Case Keenum, expect the ball when the Redskins have the ball. The Eagles are going to be coming this way.
Yeah.
Like, we're talking fumbles and interceptions. This one will be a blowout, and Carson Wentz can't get hurt in this game. He'll be on the sidelines in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, they should just worry about handing the ball off, getting Darren Sproles the ball. They did sign my man from Kansas State with it
Yeah,
for another 1 year
man,
contract. Yeah.
Darren Sproles has been in the league forever, man.
Yep. I remember
And he's a
watching him in
beast.
high school at Olathe North High School.
Hey, I
Yes.
got one of my best friends that's in the penitentiary, right?
Right.
And he's been there for 18 years now. Ready?
Right.
He used to tell me about Darren Sproles.
Really?
That's how long Darren Sproles been in the league.
There you go.
Is that crazy or what? Like, this guy is amazing. You know what? He'll never make the Hall of Fame, but man, there should be like a special little place at the Hall of Fame
Yeah.
for somebody like Darren Sproles, like played all these years, got all these return yardage and
Mhm.
kickoff return and punt return and receiving, and combine all his stats and just put him in there and be like, he's an honorable mention Hall of Famer. I think that's what Darren Sproles is.
Yeah. I mean,
And what
it's
I
just
don't
great.
get is why he keeps bouncing from team to team, right? And everywhere he goes, the quarterback's in trouble, right? And they just dump it to Darren Sproles, and he gets a little 10 yards with his the fastest speed I've ever seen.
Right.
So why would you ever want to not have that guy on your team? He was with the Chargers. He was perfect for Phillip Rivers, and
Yeah.
they don't re-sign him. That just goes to show you how hard ass that Charger organization is, and how Melvin Gordon better not fuck with them, because they didn't even re-sign Darren Sproles. Like, he's bounced around teams. I think he was with Drew Brees with the Saints. Like,
Yeah.
why would you ever leave? Why would you ever let Darren Sproles leave? If I was a quarterback, I'd be like, guys, I'm about to get sacked. I find 33.
Yeah.
I
I,
need
I don't
that.
know. I don't know. Sproles is a special talent. Like he
Yeah.
is kind of like the Barry Sanders of like my generation,
Yes.
but like he just always finds a way to like gain yards. But
Yeah, he's almost like a poor man's Barry Sanders, and that's
Yeah.
saying a lot. That means
Yeah.
he's fucking great. Yeah. Yeah.
and if I'm not mistaken, he still holds the rushing record at Kansas State. So
Yeah, when he was there, you guys beat Oklahoma in the Big 12 championship, and he was a big part of it.
we smacked that ass.
Yeah, y'all did.
It was
Yeah.
a beautiful game. But moving on to week 2, Philly travels to the Mercedes Dome to take on the Atlanta Falcons. Who do you got in this one?
I got Atlanta winning this one. Philadelphia will be riding high, thinking they're this and they're that, and they're going to go in there, and Atlanta, Matt Ryan will find a way to beat them.
Yeah, I actually have Philly winning this game because the Falcons don't have a game on the ground. They are going to try to force the ball to Julio Jones. Julio Jones has come out and said that he wants a 3,000 receiving yards season. We'll see if that happens. It doesn't happen against Philly, unfortunately.
Okay.
Mo- moving on to week 3, back home taking on the Detroit Lions.
Another blowout.
Another blowout.
They'll come back. Yeah, they'll come back and they'll handle Detroit pretty easily.
Yeah, I feel bad for Detroit. This could be another 0-16 season for them. Like
Oh,
looking at their schedule, it's pretty tough. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, they got the Chargers, Philly, Kansas City, Oakland, Washington. It sucks for them, and they just don't have any talent around Stafford, and Stafford has proven time and time again that he just cannot carry a team. I obviously have Philly winning
oh.
this game. It's going to be a blowout.
Yes,
It's going to be a snooze
yes,
fest.
yeah. That's one of those weird things. Stafford, he's good as elite as Matthew Stafford's been. I think we talked about this other. He's never won one division title.
Yeah,
We think Romo sucks, and this guy's never won one division title. And I don't think Romo sucks. I'm telling you that some people think that's the narrative of it, and it's crazy. One day we'll talk about Tony Romo. I'll tell you how great he was.
and Detroit Lions are paying this man $100 million plus. So
Wow.
it is what
Yeah.
it is. Moving on to week 4, traveling to Green Bay to take on Aaron Rodgers Packers. Who do you got in that one?
Another loss. I see the Philadelphia losing this one as well. I think Aaron Rodgers, Matt LaFleur, I think they're going to be on the same page. There's a lot made about that relationship already, and I don't know why we haven't seen it yet. So we'll see what happens there. But I think Green Bay gets them at home. Green Bay's tough at home, man.
Yeah, I have Packers winning this game. And well, if this game was later in the season, I might pick Philly because of
Yeah.
maybe the head coach quarterback uh, butting heads over there in Green Bay. But week 4 or week 5 is still a honeymoon phase, and they'll do well. Week 6, New York Jets. Who do you got?
Blowout. So I've got them in blowouts or losing
Yep.
so far. So yeah, this is another blowout. They'll beat the Jets pretty handily.
Uh,
Because
Go
yeah,
ahead. I
yeah, no,
don't.
no. I mean,
Go ahead.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, no, whenever an NFL, it's really hard to beat an NFL team. That's when it's been that way for a long time after coming off a loss. Like because you have to think about that. You have to think about that loss all week. It's not the NBA or Major League Baseball where you come back the next night. So NFL players stew on this for a whole week and get told that you suck and all that. And so usually
Yep.
it's very hard to beat it. It's teams come back and win usually the following week if you're any good. And Philadelphia's a pretty good team this year, so I think they'll come back and blow the Jets out here.
Yeah, and just to add to your point there, they are traveling to Green Bay for that loss, and they got to travel on a plane all the way home, stew that
Yeah,
loss, and then you play the Jets. They're going to wax them.
yeah.
It's going to be ugly. The next week they're traveling to Minnesota to take on the Vikings. Who do you got in that one?
Minnesota. I think they lose another one. This is basically I have them right now. What I have them on a win-loss thing
Yep,
here. Yeah,
3-3.
yeah. They're gonna they're gonna be feeling themselves out here. Carson Wentz, and it's gonna be a lot of question about did they get rid of the wrong guy and all
Yep,
that stuff. All that stuff's gonna creep into if they're 3-3, and actually after next week I'm gonna even have them with a losing record here.
yep.
All that stuff. Nick Foles, should he have been the guy? That's gonna be all the talk in Philly for the first half of the season.
Yeah, I actually had them going to Minnesota and beating Minnesota just because I don't see them going on a 3-game losing streak. And
Okay.
I'm saying that is because we've already picked the next two games. They lose to the Cowboys and they also lose to the Buffalo Bills, as we both have
Right.
have them, giving they're on the road three straight weeks, finally coming back home to take on the Chicago Bears. Who do you got in this one?
I got Philadelphia. They're gonna turn their season around, okay? Because what's gonna happen is the media is gonna get to them, and I think they're a good enough team to turn their season around. A bad team would fold.
Right.
This is not a bad football team. And some of these losses that I have them losing, they're blowing teams out, but they're not getting blown out. They're gonna lose these close games. They're gonna lose close games. I have them beating Chicago.
Yeah, so you have them going 4-5 going into the bye week. I
Right.
have them at a 6-3 going into the bye week. Coming off the bye week, They're playing the New England Patriots. I had them losing to the Patriots. You had them beating the Patriots.
Yes,
They,
absolutely. You got it's a bye week. They're coming off their bye week. They got 2 weeks to prepare. They'll come back hungry. They're so far with their schedule. They're going to get to 500 here.
yeah,
Yeah,
hungry and pissed off because after that
yeah.
three straight losses that they have, uh, giving us a matchup at home versus Seattle Seahawks. Who do you got in this one?
This is a primetime game. It's a big one. It's going to come down to the wire, and it's whoever has the ball last. Because you give that ball to Russell Wilson with a minute left, and he'll probably burn you. But I think Carson Wentz will have the ball last, and I think Philadelphia gets it done. This is where Philadelphia goes on a roll here.
Yeah, I agree with you on the roll and beating the Seattle Seahawks. I think the Seahawks are going to be trash this year, to be honest. I
I
don't have
see.
faith in their quarterback.
Yeah,
Their only wide receiver that they really have is Tyler
Lockett.
Lockett, and
Yeah,
they're getting ready to pay their linebacker Bobby Wagner was like $65 million or something like that
yeah.
to become the highest paid linebacker ever. So they have, what was it, 40% of their salary cap wrapped up in two guys, in Russell Wilson and Bobby
Right.
Wagner. So they aren't going to be very good moving forward. So
Yeah,
move.
I agree. I see 8-8. I
Yeah,
haven't done their schedule yet, but I see an average football team there. You're right.
yeah. So moving on to the next week, they're traveling to Miami to take on the Dolphins. Who do you got?
Do we do Miami schedule? I don't even remember if I have.
Yes, we did do Miami. So we actually have them both as wins. I'm sorry. Moving on to the
Yeah.
next week, we
Okay.
have
Yeah.
they're taking on the New York Football Giants at home. Who do you got?
I got Eagles in this one. Here's where they're going the roll for me. They're going to have like a similar situation like the Cowboys. They'll be 3-5, just the way I see it, and then they're going to go on a roll and make the playoffs.
Yeah, so you are giving them four straight wins. I have them beating the Giants as well. We both have said this over and over and over. Giants are basically going to be trash this year. Even though we're hoping for an 8-8 record, so Eli can go off in like a happy thoughts, but they'll be folded by this time of year.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next week, traveling to Washington. Who do you got?
I got the Eagles. They're, do we do Washington? We haven't done Washington schedule,
No,
right?
no, we haven't.
No. Um, you know what? The hell with that. Scratch that.
Scratch that.
It's I'm because you know what I thought. This is at Washington, right?
At Washington.
Okay. Sometimes when it gets in December, these divisional games, you can throw records out. This will be one of them. Washington might be out of it by now, and nothing would make them better, their fans better, than to ruin the Eagles' season of making wild card. And this would be one of those ones. Listen, we're not going to make it. The Washington Redskins hate the New York Giants.
Yeah.
I don't want you guys to make it either. So this is going to be one of those games. I think Washington wins this game. I don't know how, but Washington wins this game.
Yeah, I understand your logic there, but I also have to be a realist as well. Philly is just a much better football team than the Washington Redskins. Yes, it is a division game. Yes, it's on the road. Yes, it's mid-December when they're playing. But the Eagles are battling for the division championship. They have to win this game. This is a must-win. That is why they win this game. Moving on to Week 16, you have them beating the Cowboys. I have them losing to the Cowboys, giving us a Week 17 matchup versus the New York Football Giants. I've been on record many, many times. I hate when the NFL does this. You play the same team twice in like a month or a 3-week span. I think this is asinine, 100%. But they finished the season on the road at the New York Giants. Who do you got?
No, I got Philly winning this one. I go 10-6. I think I have them.
Yeah, let me count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, 10-6.
10-6, and that's a wild card spot, and they will be on the road to face. I think the whether it's St. Louis, Chicago. Let me think here for a second. It'll be wild card weekend, and so the Eagles will be like a 5th or 6th seed on the road at Chicago, or maybe even Dallas. I'm not sure. I think Dallas is 12-4. I think they get a 2 seed, but
Yeah,
they'll be on the road to face New Orleans. Let's just say New Orleans and the Rams are the 1 and 2 seeds, and Dallas is a 3rd seed. Philadelphia at 10-6 will be on the road to face your Dallas Cowboys at 12-4. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, that's good. I think Philadelphia bows out of the first round of the playoffs after going 10-6.
Yeah, so I have them winning that last game as well, finishing with 11-5 record. Still a wild card
Okay.
seed as a 5 seed. Take take it on the 4 seed. Probably the Green Bay Packers. I think the
Okay.
Packers are going to win that division this year with like a 8, 9, and 7 type of
Oh
record.
wow. So
But so
you're about to set up one of those scenarios where, well, you have them 11 and oh, okay. So yeah, you're
yeah,
setting up one of those scenarios where the better record, the better team is going to have to go on the road at Wild Card Weekend.
yep.
Yeah,
But I'm like you. I had them losing that first
I do
weekend.
too.
So
Yeah.
I don't think Carson Wentz, as Carson Wentz is a good quarterback. We've seen that he was 2 years ago. He was on that record pace to set, what was it, the yards or touch. I can't
Yeah.
remember what record he was on, but he got hurt in game 12, scampering into the end zone, and ever since then we really haven't seen much of Carson Wentz. He is a good quarterback for 10 games of the year because then he's hurt for the rest of the season.
And what's
So
weird is he's played on relatively good teams with the
yeah,
Philadelphia Eagles, and he's got a record of 23 and 17 as a starter. Okay, so
ouch.
that's kind of, yeah, 23 and 17. That's kind of weird, right?
Yeah.
Like in other words, you think like it'd be, and Nick Foles' record is off the root, off the
Hmm.
charts. It's weird. There's something about the Eagles though. When I watch them schematically, it seems like they call different plays for Carson Wentz. In other words, like it seems like they dumb down the game for Nick Foles and give Nick Foles and a lot of football. I think Mike Florio has mentioned this, and Cosell, Mr. Cosell, not Howard Cosell. I think one of the Cosell, he does NFL Network or something. They've mentioned this before, and it's weird. And I'm glad they mentioned it because I'm like, what am I watching? It seems like they asked Carson Wentz to throw the ball more vertical down the field and do harder throws because they like his arm talent.
Yeah.
And it seems like they call the game different. Um, Coach Doug Peterson calls the game different. And then when Nick Foles is in, it's like they dumb down the game and pretend that he's just Alex Smith or Dak Prescott, and they just little dunks here, and then once in a while get you deep. I'm thinking to myself, dumb down the game for Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
And then let's see how the talent progresses. It's almost like they put him in positions and they think, okay, we got Dan Marino now. And then you know what I'm saying? Like it's
Yeah.
like they call the game different, and that's been happening for 3 years now.
Yeah.
And
And
so
if
now
they
Nick Foles is gone. Now we're gonna see.
and if they were to tank and dunk, run little 5 yard, 10 yard slants, and then hit you deep, that is when you least expect because everybody starts to
Yeah.
move up. Everybody's getting soaked up with that. They can hand the ball to like Sproles or whoever else is in the
Yeah.
backfield. I can't remember
Mike,
who their starting
Mike,
tailback is.
it's the craziest thing
Yeah.
I've ever seen. If you actually really talk to Philadelphia Eagle fans that know the game, they feel like they're watching a different game. Like Wentz gets hurt, and then they see Nick Foles come in, and it's like a completely different offensive game plan.
Yeah.
And they can't wrap their brain around. Well, then have that same game plan for when Carson Wentz is healthy, and it's a simpler game plan for Nick Foles, and then it makes Nick Foles look awesome.
Would it be
Because then,
is maybe Nick Foles just not smart enough upstairs to run that
that's
complex offense?
that's possible. Or he doesn't have the arm talent like to make these different kind of
Right.
throws that Carson Wentz will make. So it's like they change it too. So this is gonna be very interesting now to see how they do this, because there's no more Nick Foles to save you when Carson Wentz gets hurt.
Hmm.
Nate Sudfeld, 6'6" quarterback out of Indiana, is coming in. I don't know how good he is, but I don't think you want to find out on a championship team
Right.
that they think they have a championship team. So now there's no more Nick Foles to come in and save you. That's going to be interesting to watch and see how this plays out. And it's also going to be interesting to watch to see how well Nick Foles does in another uniform. Because when Nick Foles is in other uniforms besides the Eagles, he's terrible.
Yeah.
So it's like that kind of proves the point of Mike Florio and Cosell, and my point that when Nick Foles is with the Eagles, he thrives and he flourishes because it's Doug Peterson's game plan for him.
Yeah.
Nick Foles is somewhere else with other coaching staff, and he have you seen Nick Foles in any big games other than a Philadelphia Eagle uniform?
Nope.
And he's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
So we'll see how he does. We'll see how Nick Foles does in Jacksonville. See what kind of game plan they have.
Yeah, sorry about that background noise. Apparently, my neighbor likes to ride around on tractors while I'm trying to do a podcast. but yeah, just to add to your point there, what Nick Foles got traded, or he went to the Cardinals, right, for like a year.
And
was it?
I think he was with the Rams, and
Well,
he was
yeah,
terrible too.
yeah. So, but
Average quarterback.
so that makes me wonder if the other coaching staffs that he's been a part of
Yeah,
doesn't understand that maybe Nick Foles isn't smart enough to concept a big game. Like I'm not calling him dumb. Don't
yeah,
get
right. No,
don't
no,
don't get my
it can happen with a lot
get
of
my torch
people.
twisted. But this makes me flashback to a quarterback that K State had by the name of Michael Bishop, the best raw talent quarterback I've ever seen. Single
Right,
handedly led K State to like 11-2 record year in and
absolutely.
like year out. But he went to the NFL. He was the backup to the New England Patriots, Drew Bledsoe.
Right.
He was there before Tom Brady was, but he could
Okay.
not understand how to run a pro style offense. So he ultimately ended up quitting football. The very next week, Drew Bledsoe gets hurt. Tom Brady comes in. That could have
Right.
very well have been Michael Bishop in there when Drew Bledsoe got hurt, and we may have never known about Tom Brady.
Right.
So
Yeah. Hey.
just the mental aspect of the quarterback,
Right.
you have to be the smartest guy ever.
Yes.
That is why they get paid $60-70 million like a year. It's because it's
I,
hard to be an NFL quarterback.
the two hardest things to do in sports is to play NFL quarterback and to hit a breaking ball and ball that's moving. Like
Yeah,
it's hard. You know what I mean?
right.
Those are the two hardest things to do in sports. And so it's not that Michael Bishop is dumb or Nick Foles. We're not.
No.
Nobody's saying that. It sometimes it takes a special person mentally to get everything, and then to put it to work on the field.
Like
Um.
you have to process 5 guys running routes. You have to
Yes.
process 11 guys coming at you to kill you, plus people screaming. Like it's a
And,
lot.
and Michael Bishop was such a supreme talent. It's no reason it shouldn't have worked. It's just
Yeah.
sometimes between the years you don't get it. I almost will guarantee you. I haven't even looked at it. He was such a supreme talent. I bet he played other places, CFL or Arena League.
He did
I
play
don't
in the
think. I
CFL
don't
for,
think.
for
Yeah,
like
I
a
don't
while.
think he just retired.
No.
Yeah, because he's too good.
Yeah.
He didn't get cut because of his talent. He got caught because maybe he's not understanding different coverages and routing concepts. That's what we're saying.
But
And so
on the other hand of that, you also have to have a good coach to dumb down that
yes,
that offense.
and
Bill
to come
Snyder was an extreme
right,
coach. He dumbed down
right,
is like for that offense for Michael Bishop. Hey, you do you, and like this guy is going to run a 10-yard post. If he's open,
right.
throw it. If not, scan for the ball. So
And
so
yeah,
so coaches need to understand that Nick Foles may not be smart upstairs.
right,
I'm not calling him dumb, but
right.
smart, like, as smart as Carson Wentz. So dumb it down for him.
And he doesn't have the arm talent to throw maybe the 20-yard
Yeah.
outs on the money.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Very
So,
few players do. That
yeah,
that is
Carson
a supreme talent.
Yeah, Carson Wentz is Dan Marino talent type, and
Yeah.
so they changed the offense for him. So just to come full circle, Doug Peterson puts in a different offense, but for Nick Foles and Carson Wentz, and then to the people that don't understand football, Michael, you know what they tell me? Nick Foles is better than Carson Wentz, and technically, listen, the jury's still out on Carson Wentz, but Nick Foles is not a better talent than Carson Wentz.
Stat wise, maybe.
Yeah, it just makes it look better because they changed the offense for him. So there you go.
All right, guys. So we're going to wrap it up for today. Thank you for joining us. As always, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you're listening to us on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, be sure to follow that podcast. Share it with a couple friends as well. As my neighbor drives by again on his tractor, I don't know what the hell he's doing, but it is ridiculous. But join us tomorrow as we break down the miserable Washington Redskins.
Oh, real fun.
That'll be it for today, guys. We out.